Okay, so our next card is going to come up here. Let's see what we got. It is... Alright, this is going to be fun here. This is one that we could preempt on. Boy, oh boy. The enemy's going to get 3... Well, you know what? We don't need to preempt on this. We're going to let the enemy go ahead and go first again. Enemy's going to go first. They're going to get actually a grand total of 3 APs because there are 3 cubes in the rated cubes box and 3 in the subjugation box, so they're going to cancel each other out. The unparenthesized value on the card is 3, so they're just going to add 3 more to the mix. This is a huge strategy for the player in the game, is to try to gum up the rated cubes box as much as possible. The problem is sustaining that. You cannot sustain that indefinitely. Eventually it will have to get recycled. There are a lot of minor events that will do that. Furthermore, the player eventually is going to have to undertake a planning operation which will also recycle the cubes. And so you cannot sustain that indefinitely. The trick is to try to sustain it as long as possible, but you can't sustain it forever. Eventually the initiative will shift to the enemy. Right now, the player definitely has the initiative here. With this card, I really want to take actions with this particular card. It doesn't make sense to do planning because that's going to take the cubes out of the rated cubes box. I don't want to do that just yet. And I really like to get rid of that last mission, so I'm actually going to take actions, and I'm going to take Family A to this box. It's going to cost me 2 movement points to do, so we'll put this on the 4 box. And we'll draw 1 cube out and pray it's not a green one, because I'm not ready for battle yet. Alright, it was a brown one, and so that mission outpost is gone from the map, and we gain a culture point, which is always nice. Alright, now I could continue to raid New Mexico, but here's the problem. There are 3 black, 3 white, 1 yellow, and 1 green cube in the cup right now. It sounds like the odds are definitely my favor, but boy, I'll tell you what, pulling that green cube out is just... It causes so many problems that I'm thinking it's best just to use the rest of my movement points to run away because I'm about to be raided. So I'm going to move back 1, 2... 3, 4, and stop. And that sets up a good ambush opportunity for us. Next, I'm going to take Family B, and I'm going to move them 1, because I've got horses. Actually, I forgot to put horses in box A. And for B, I'm going to put horses with him as well. And I'm going to move him 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I entered a box containing a intruder counter. Now this was placed by a major event earlier in the game before the demo started, and so as soon as I enter that box with a family, or if that counter is placed in the same box as a family, we flip it over and it says trade goods. Happy news for us. So we get to put that in the resources box, and it turns into a trade goods counter for us. So that was nice. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we spent 4 movement points. And I'm actually going to stop there with him. I'm not going to do anything else with him. Next, I'm going to take Family C, and we will give them a horse. No, I'm not going to give them a horse. Shoot. 6, 10. No, I'm not going to give them a horse. I'm going to move them 1 box over here to the Zuni Mountains and stop. I will actually not give the horse to Family D either. I'm going to move them 1, and I'm going to plant corn there for 3 plus 1, so that's going to spend pretty much the rest of his movement points. And so now he is done. It behooves the player to occupy as many places, different areas as possible. Also, you are encouraged to occupy San Juan Valley, Shiprock, and Zuni Mountains because they are worth more victory points when a historical event card is pulled than the back 3 areas are. In fact, Black Mesa and Canyon de Chelly are worth 0 victory points. So holding the eastern areas is vital to your game survival. If you don't, you are going to lose your military points. So I'm done with all my take actions, and the enemy is already gone. So now we have the major event, which is Hostile Tribes. The Ute Raid instruction counter is going to swap places on the active column. So Ute Raid is going to move over So now we hear rumors that the Ute are thinking about coming and engaging in war against the Navajo. Ute raids and Comanche raids, any kind of tribal raid, is handled differently. There is no safe place on the map except for Canyon de Chelly. That's the only place you're safe from enemy raids, or from tribal raids. Tribal raids do not come from Santa Fe. They literally can pop up in any area on the map. So when you're facing a tribal raid, it actually would benefit the player to congregate in anticipation of that, because one of two things is going to happen. Either the tribe's not going to find you, or you'll be all in one area like Canyon de Chelly where you're completely immune. Whereas if you're spread out, like you really want to be most of the time, your chances of getting hit, at least one of your families being hit by that raid and impacted by that raid, are greatly enhanced. So, minor event on the card is going to be drought, so we roll a die. This is the opposite of recovery, and we look at area 2, and we're going to put a drought counter there. Now, if the area already had 2 drought counters, then we would put it into an adjacent area, either Shiprock or Monument Valley. Adjacency is defined as an area that has a raid box connected to an adjoining area. Canyon de Chelly, technically speaking, in game terms, is adjacent to all 6 areas on the map, even though it actually only connects to Hopi Land and Monument Valley. Okay, so that ends the operation card there, and we'll go to the next one and draw a card. Now this one, the raid is probably going to happen to us. Oh, crap. Wow. What do you say, Mike? Do you think we ought to let the enemy just go first and eat the raid?
Well, you're going to get it anyway, probably. Even with preempting, they're going to get 4.
Yeah, I definitely want to do with this.
Take that back. They're going to get 3.
Yeah, they are going to get 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. They're going to get a total of 4 on this if we don't preempt, and they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If we preempt, they will not act on this card, but we will not have enough action points to deal with the raid that's going to come on the next card. So I say let's just take it now. Let the enemy go first, because it costs us action points to do some of the player reactions during the course of the raid that I'm going to want to undertake, especially ambush. So here we go. Enemy is going to get, as I said, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We roll the dice. And instruction 3, there's 2 die roll 3s, but instruction 3 is a black stripe, so it doesn't flip. And the raid is going to happen here. We have 11 counters, so they all go to Santa Fe. They all flip over. The enemy is going to get 3 bonus. We look at the most ferocious family on the map, which happens to be family A. It has a ferocity of 3, so we're going to put 3 more bonus markers. So that becomes a level 14 raid. Whoops. You can do that. I meant to flip them over. Ouch. So this is...
which is the highest raid that you can have?
I'm sorry, what?
14 is the highest raid that you can have.
During the Spanish period, yes. During the American period, no.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, so this is gonna be fun here. All right, so first thing that's gonna happen is I'm not gonna follow the flow chart terribly carefully here. I'm just gonna run right through this to speed things along. First counter goes here. We have the opportunity for response. I'm gonna spend an action point. I'm gonna put a harassment counter down here. So that's gonna slow the enemy. Next raid counters are gonna go there. I may now spend another action point, and I'm going to put a harassment counter there. I'm a big fan of harassment. And by the way, you can only harass if you have a family with a man, and you can place the harassment counters only in an empty box that is within 3 boxes of that family. So you can't put a harassment counter in a box containing an outpost, etc. Alright, so the enemy is now got to make a decision because the raid path branches here. He could go up into Shiprock, or excuse me, up into San Juan Valley, or he can continue into Shiprock Box 3. To determine in which direction the family goes, you count the movement point cost to the adjacent, or to the different families. So in order to get to family A, the enemy would spend 3 7 movement points. Again, we're using the unparenthesized value. To get to family B, it would cost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that one's definitely not the closest. Family C is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 away. So family A is definitely the closest family. So he's going to spend 2 raid counters to enter that box. Player may now execute a reaction. We will forego any reaction here. Indeed, we have no action we could do here. And again, we recalculate. Which direction is the enemy going to go? It cost him 4 to enter family A. It's going to cost him 6 to get at family C. So he's still going to head toward family 8. Now the reason you recalculate is because the situation may have changed due to an evasion. We haven't encountered that yet, but should an evasion occur, it could cause a recalculation.